gamers. Today we're diving into another amp in the collection here. It's one that has been showing up on a bunch of demos recently. It's kind of been my backline amp for the last handful of months. It's the Matchless 3015, and I think it's honestly one of the more unsung and kind of under the radar models from Matchless. You've maybe heard me rave about the Clubman. There's obviously a huge contingent of people that swear by the DC or SC30s or the Chieftains, but the 3015 I think has a really unique and important place in the Matchless lineup, and we're going to talk about some of the reasons why I love the 3015, why it works so well for the stuff that I do, and hear a bunch of different sound samples of the amp. Throughout the video I'm going to be playing this guitar, the Fano GF6 with Lawler Regals in it. We're going to be running through the pedal board and at times using some delay and reverb from a Brigadier and a Strymon Big Sky MX, but we're going to lean pretty heavily on the amp for the rest of the sounds. We're running the amp into a UA aux box, which is primarily how I record with it these days, and let's dive in. To start with, the 3015 is a dead simple, straightforward circuit from Matchless. You have a volume, a tone, and a master volume control on the front, and you have a half power switch on the back which can switch between 30 and 15 watts. That's a really nice thing about this amp. I tend to run it in the 30 watt mode in the studio here because it offers a little bit more headroom, a little more power, but basically the 3015 features a quartet of EL84 power tubes that you can either utilize 2 or 4 of for either 15 or 30 watts. It's got a pair of 12AX7s for the preamp and phase inverter. You have an efficient control scheme to really let you simply dial in the sounds you want and get rolling, and that's one of the things I really love about this amp. One of the other things I love about the 3015, and kind of what's true of a lot of these Matchless circuits, is the response and the dynamics that you can get from just the amp alone. I think for being such a simple amp, the 3015 has a ton of versatility that I hope you can kind of see through the duration of this video. We're going to go through the tone knob and just kind of show the range of sweep that you get from that, from a more mellowed out, kind of darker sounding tone counterclockwise to that really classic, zingy, kind of bright Matchless thing in the top end as you dial that tone knob up. So let's hear the range of that tone control now. I play the 3015, the more I really kind of see and experience the versatility that this amp possesses. You can go from really nice sparkly clean sounds with the volume rolled down kind of around 9 o'clock, all the way into rich, thick, saturated, overdriven tones that really beautiful tube saturation. It makes it useful for a lot of genres. I can lean into it for those clean, sparkly ambient sounds, and then I can just dial up the volume and kind of play with the master volume a little bit to get some of those thick rhythm guitar tones or some really soaring lead tones if you really crank the volume. So we're going to hear some of those overdriven sounds right now from the 3015 and just kind of see that range of gain you can get by working with the volume and the master volume control. It's also a really great platform for a pedal board. Obviously, if you're around the channel, you know that I use a bunch of effects into the front end of my amp. And so there's a lot of kind of evidence for and showcasing of that context. We're going to show a clip here just engaging an overdrive, the JHS Morning Glory, to kind of boost the front end of the amp and hear and feel what that sounds like by throwing some overdrive into the amp where it's already kind of cooking. And I think, again, just a really great case for the versatility of this amp and the way that it can do some really nice overdriven sounds when pushed. That's the Matchless 3015. It's a really simple, straightforward amp. Like every Matchless I've played, it really does sound fantastic. It kind of has its own flair and its own appeal. The simplicity, the versatility, the straightforward control set. It just gets to the point and it does it really well. And so check out the 3015 if you're in the market for an amp that can kind of do a lot without having an overly complex or complicated control scheme or circuit. It's a really fantastic option. Drop any questions below that you've got about this amp, about any of the other Matchless amps you see behind me here. I love to just chat about amps and tones and all that. And please hit subscribe too if you are new to the channel and haven't done that already. Take care.